Hello, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Newsroom. I'm Summer Rottershot. On Inside the Newsroom, we bring you the trending stories of the KELOLAND area, and we bring in our newsroom staff members to talk about these stories so that you can get a unique perspective to the stories that you see every day on KELOLAND News and on KELOLAND.com. Now, there's something I actually forgot to tell you guys. Yesterday was my 2-year anniversary at KELO. So that means on August 14th of 2023, I finally started at KELO. It's been a dream job for me. I always knew I wanted to work on KELO, and to have it like right out the gate, right after I graduated college, was just such a blessing. But even though you may think I'm a pro, I promise you I'm not. I learn new stuff absolutely every day. And I think there were some firefighters that probably felt like it was their first day back on the job after a rescue in Lead this week. Now, Wednesday morning, the Lead Volunteer Fire Department responded to the classic cat rescue. Someone called saying that their cat, Pearl, poor Pearl, had been stuck in a tall pine tree for over a day. I know they got to see if the cat can get itself down before they call in the fire crews to help, but a day is a long time for that poor cat to be up there. You can see the firefighters that are going up the ladder. They scoop up Pearl from his perch and then bring him back down to his owner. Officials say they hope Pearl can keep his paws on the ground for a little bit. Look at Pearl. I'm so glad that they were just able to get him back down on the ground, because up in a tree for a day, he was probably thirsty. That poor cat. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, aside from Pearl, we have a cat-tastic show ahead for you. Carly Phillips is going to take us to Madison after 150 kids were given a special gift. And then Perry Groten gets people's reactions after a big announcement from the University of South Dakota. But first, Kelly Volk is going to break down more about that announcement from USD. That's ahead on Inside the Newsroom. Welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. A big change is planned for South Dakota's only medical school. The USD Sanford School of Medicine will move the first 18 months of its Doctor of Medicine program to Sioux Falls. It's currently housed on the main campus in Vermilion. Kelly Volk has reaction from the announcement.
USD's 4-year medical degree program launched more than 50 years ago. But the university president says as medical education has changed over the decades, students now need more opportunities to work with clinical faculty early in their education.
Currently, USD's first and second year medical school students lose valuable time commuting between Vermilion and Sioux Falls for clinical experiences. As medical education evolves, our planning for improving student experiences and opportunities must evolve as well.
While the USD Sanford School of Medicine is slated to move to the state's largest city, officials say rural health care is still a priority.
Please make no mistake, this move to Sioux Falls does nothing to diminish my and our commitment to rural health across South Dakota. I will not waver from that.
I think this just helps the whole situation of encouraging people to stay in South Dakota and give them opportunities in these rural communities.
During the first phase, students will learn in temporary locations in Sioux Falls. The plan is to build a new facility in the next 7 to 10 years at a site yet to be determined.
Obviously, we want it to be convenient for our clinicians, for our students, but Sioux Falls is a small enough city. I don't think that'll be a problem.
USD's Doctor of Medicine program accepts just over 70 students a year.
And now Kelly Volk joins us. Kelly, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Summer.
Tell me a little bit about what did this press conference look like yesterday? And I know sometimes when you head into a press conference, you don't really know what the subject matter is. So it can be sort of hard as a reporter to prepare for that. So just tell me, how did yesterday go?
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, sometimes when you walk into one of these press events, you don't know what's going to be announced, and that was the case yesterday. We were told that people from USD and the city of Sioux Falls and the state of South Dakota and different hospital systems would be there, but we didn't know exactly what was going to be announced. And this press conference was packed. I saw so many familiar faces, local and state leaders, people in the healthcare community, lots of reporters were there. So this was a very busy and I would say a little crowded event as people waited to hear the announcement.
It looked crowded. I could just hear, like the crowd in there. I'm like, and when you can hear the crowd over our microphones, it's like, okay, that's a pretty busy area.
Quite a few people.
Yeah. Did they cite different reasons for the switch in this press conference?
Well, as the president mentioned, medical students are now needing more opportunities early in their education to work with clinical faculty. Well, those students that are in the first 18 months of that program are based in Vermilion, and then they might be commuting to Sioux Falls to work with clinicians. And one of the ideas is that this will be more convenient for these students to cut down on that commuting between Vermilion and Sioux Falls. If the school is based in Sioux Falls, then, they don't have to travel as far to work with those Sioux Falls-based clinical faculty.
Yeah, and like on South Dakota winters, I know sometimes I'm scared to even travel within Sioux Falls on those winter roads. So to go all the way from Vermilion to Sioux Falls and back again, I can see where that creates almost a hazard for your students, that if you can avoid that, you sort of want to avoid that.
Yeah, and I mean, that was mentioned. I'm sure that's not the only reason, but
yes.
A few people did bring up the winter driving conditions.
Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely, but I can see where a mom's like, hey, I don't want my baby on the road if it's going to be bad out. You also talked to Governor Larry Roden, who was there. What was his reaction to all of this? Did he say, pluses, minuses? I mean, I don't know if there are any minuses, but what did he have to say?
Well, he was very positive about the announcement. He was one of the featured speakers at the press conference, and he talked about, as a West River guy, he knows the importance of rural health and having medical professionals in these roles. And he thinks that this will not only help keep doctors in South Dakota, medical students who become doctors, keep them in South Dakota, but also help fill medical positions in rural communities.
Yeah, which is, especially when everything can be so spaced out in South Dakota, is such a huge aspect of having that medical rural care.
Right.
What did they say? Because a lot of people are probably thinking in their heads, this is happening right now. But what's exactly the timeline for when this whole switch is going to happen?
So this move to Sioux Falls is supposed to start in the summer of 2027. So we've got about 2 years until this happens. And at that time, the students are going to be working in temporary locations with the help of Sanford Health. The phase 2 part of this is that a new building will come along at some point. They're thinking in maybe 7 to 10 years. So that would be a permanent facility. Where that's going to be located is not known yet.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things they're going to figure out, but the students are going to be here in about 2 years.
Right,
so,
that's correct.
Very exciting. And yeah, it's going to be so much easier for them to connect with all the doctors in Sioux Falls with that. So awesome. Yeah. Is there anything else that you think we missed from yesterday's press conference?
Well, my coworker, Ray Yost, who's a digital reporter, was there at the announcement with me, and she's looking at another angle of this and maybe some of the history of trying to get this school to Sioux Falls, because this is not the first time that this has been talked about. So if you want more details, you can go and click on her story on our website.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Well, coming up, we're going to hear from Vermilion residents and get their reaction to this move. That's ahead on Inside the Newsroom. Welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. Many people in Vermilion are processing what losing the medical school will mean for their community. Perry Groten has been sampling opinions along Vermilion's Main Street.
An educational pillar of USD will be leaving campus in 2 years.
It's disappointing. Anytime change happens, it's hard.
But Mayor John Cole says the 2-year transition will give USD time to expand STEM programs on campus to fill the void.
Students from those other programs are going to grow, and it's just going to replace those med school students as well.
People in Vermilion we spoke with say moving the School of Medicine off campus will be good for medical students since they already spend so much of their time in Sioux Falls.
My sister goes down to Sioux Falls a lot for clinicals, so I think it's a really good idea just to put the whole med school there.
But some downtown businesses are concerned about an economic impact to losing the medical school.
For the med school, they have graduations like all year round, and a lot of times we get celebrations from those graduations. And so if they're moving the med school up to Sioux Falls, I think we're going to see a loss on that side of it.
A college town coming to terms with a big change on campus that will be felt from Old Main to Main Street.
Ultimately, when the university succeeds, Vermilion succeeds as well, and vice versa.
And now Perry Groten joins us. Hi there, Perry.
Hello, Summer.
Is this your first time on
My
Inside
very
the Newsroom?
first time.
Wow.
So go easy on me. I mean, where's the teleprompter on this thing?
Oh no, this is all ad lib, buddy.
This is all ad lib.
So yeah, I know it's dangerous giving you a mic and telling you to just talk, but
yeah, there's a reason why I haven't been on this show before.
Here we are. Yeah, and I was gonna say, and it's my first week, so if you mess this up for me, Perry, they're never gonna let me do it again. So. Okay, so obviously yesterday we just talked with Kelly Volk, but the press conference was held, I believe, here in Sioux Falls, but obviously this has a huge impact on Vermilion. So just tell me, what was the atmosphere like in Vermilion following this announcement?
Yeah, we wanted to get reaction from people on the street, so we went down to Main Street there and talked to people. It was just a pretty chill summer afternoon out there, and when we approached people to ask them about what they thought about USD, the medical school leaving the USD campus, a lot of them didn't even know that was taking place, and they expressed surprise, some concern. There's always uncertainty with a big change like this, but they thought in the long run it would probably be a good thing because, as my story said, a lot of these medical students do a lot of their classroom work, their clinicals already in Sioux Falls because with the three major hospitals here, we got Avera and Sanford and the VA. So it saves a lot of commuter time, and it just makes it more convenient for the students, the medical students, to do much of their coursework here in Sioux Falls rather than on the campus in Vermilion.
Yeah, and I was just talking with Kelly a little bit about the commute, and when you have those South Dakota winters, it can be dangerous going that far. Granted, it is the interstate, but still, you don't want to risk it when you don't have to. You also talked to the mayor. What was his overall feeling? Because obviously, Vermilion's his town. He watches over that town. What was all of his reactions and feelings? Yeah,
he came right out and said, it's disappointing, but then he's also taking a very positive outlook on it for the same reasons that it still reflects well on USD because it's still affiliated with the University of South Dakota, even though they're changing locations. And the move isn't going to be taking place until the summer of 2027. So he is saying that that'll give USD plenty of time to expand education programs that'll be housed in the current medical school. Like we're talking like STEM courses and that kind of thing. So he thinks there would be a little, if any, net loss of students because other programs at USD would be expanding.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it was in Kelly's pack where it said it was about that 70-ish students are each year. Yeah. And, if USD is expanding, then hopefully they can gain more than 70 students above, what they have.
Yeah.
What one thing that they were talking about in your pack was the economic impact this is going to have. What are the concerns around that? And the mayor's sort of like, oh well, he's hoping that'll even out. Do you think that will even that out? Or?
Yeah, we talked to a woman who works at one of the shops, or it was a restaurant downtown, and she was saying that these medical students, they have graduations on a fairly regular basis, and they like to go out and celebrate graduation parties in town and spend their money there. But after 2 years late from now, that won't be the case, and so they're worried about the economic loss of that. But then again, if the University of South Dakota is expanding programs, they'll still have students to replace them, and hopefully those students will be spending money in town as well.
Yeah, hopefully it will even out. Now, you talked to residents, and there was happy emotions around this. There were some not as positive emotions. But what were their overall feelings, both happy and disappointed for the residents?
Yeah, it's kind of a neutral feeling at this point. They can see both the good and the bad of it. Obviously, it's always a great thing to be the host the only medical school in the state of South Dakota. I posed another question to the mayor about this. There's always been talk for years that Sioux Falls is trying to poach all of these education programs from USD and that kind of thing, and that's a case that the mayor had heard as well. But he's saying no, that's not the case at all. Vermilion is not going to lose the USD campus if for no other reason that the Board of Regents in the state of South Dakota has invested literally hundreds of millions of dollars into the campus there. They've renovated the Dakota Dome. They've added that new sports center there. They've done renovations to dormitories. So South Dakota is still very, very committed to the Vermilion campus. And I think the people of Vermilion understand that and appreciate that, and they look to that with a very strong source of pride in their community.
Oh, as it should be. I mean, when you think of Vermilion, you think of the USD Yotes. That's who they are. And I can see how it's important to them to understand that they're not going to lose that even if the medical school is coming up here to Sioux Falls. Perry, is there anything else from the people you talked to or the mayor that you think we missed in this segment?
No, other than, like I say, they take the news as a change, and they have to embrace change, and it'll take some adjusting to not have the school there and the transition period and that kind of thing. So they're just holding out hope for the best, and I think they're expecting the best to occur, and that they expect the University of South Dakota to thrive well into the future.
Amazing. Well, Perry, that's our time. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're done already.
That was fun.
You're off the hook. Hey, maybe Maddie will bring you back. I won't because today's my last day. But
that's too bad.
Yeah, hopefully Maddie will bring you back. So
yeah, hopefully this isn't my last day.
So hopefully. Thank you, Perry. Thank you. Well, ahead we hear about the gift that is going to be an educational help to kids in the Moody County Boys and Girls Club. That's ahead on Inside the Newsroom. Welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. A big surprise is opening the door for kids to access more digital resources. Carly Phillips tells us about the gift kids with the Moody County Boys and Girls Club received.
It was a surprise kids with the Moody County Boys and Girls Club never saw coming, but one staff say will make a big difference. So you can imagine the reaction when they found out Dakota State University and AT&T teamed up
to donate 150 laptops to all of you in the room today. Is that cool?
Have you ever had your own laptop before?
No. I mean, at school I did, but no.
One by one, all 150 kids walked up to receive their very own laptop and backpack filled with school supplies.
We have some kiddos who do not have a laptop or even access to Wi-Fi. So when they come to the club is the only time they get to use a computer, but we don't have that many computers.
That need is what drove AT&T to get involved.
And we thought it would be a nice touch to have it hosted here at Dakota State, since they're the ones that connected AT&T and the Boys and Girls Club. So it was really special to have it hosted here.
The laptops will help kids stay up to date with technology and improve digital learning skills.
Tech is only becoming more and more, and for our kiddos to be able to type and learn the things about security early on, it'll only help them later on.
In simple terms,
yeah, exciting. Yeah.
Is the best way that sums up the surprise.
And now Carly Phillips joins us. Carly, thanks so much for being here today. I absolutely loved the looks on the kids' faces, when they received them, and they were opening those laptops like right away. Mm-hmm. Did the kids know that this was coming? Like, obviously we saw the backpacks at the front, but what did the kids know and not know as they walked into that room yesterday?
Yeah, so they knew that there was something that they were getting, but they weren't exactly sure. And so when I kind of got there, you could see them trying to kind of peek around, see if they could figure anything out. But I think when they heard about the laptop, like for a lot of them, they've never had their own laptop. And so hearing that, just, the excitement, and it was really, really cool to see them all excited about that.
Yeah. And honestly, especially in like the digital changing age, I didn't get my own laptop. Like I had a school laptop, but I didn't get my own laptop till like college, but with how everything's switching over to more technology, it's more vital at that younger age almost at this point. Tell Tell me a little bit about this partnership, because it was a little bit of DSU and a little bit of AT&T that came together to do this for the kids.
Yeah, so originally Cheryl Riley with AT&T, who we heard from in the package, she had visited the Moody County Boys and Girls Club in Flandreau, and they got to talking, her and the director, about how, you know, it would be nice to be able to give kids a laptop or more access to the internet and things like that, because like you said, you know, technology is becoming a really big part of learning. And from there, they kind of worked together to figure things out about how to get these refurbished laptops to all 150 kids.
That is so many laptops and so many kids. And like I said, they seem so excited, but you were there. What were their reactions? Were they excited? Did they not know what to think, or what were they feeling?
A lot of the kids there was a lot of screaming and a lot of clapping. My microphone levels were peaking, so I had to turn them way down because that's how loud it was for how excited they were.
Aww.
But they were also really grateful, you know, to be able to have that opportunity now, because a lot of the kids would go to the Boys and Girls Club and they would have computers there, but there weren't that many. So now to kind of have their own, they can do schoolwork. I know the boy, Leslie, that I interviewed for this story, he said he's excited to play some games on there too. But
of course,
it can be used for a lot of different things. So
that's so cool. And then AT&T, and they also donated some money, correct? Who did they donate the money to, and what was that going towards?
Yeah, so it was a $20,000 donation that they gave to Dakota State University, and it's for their cyber program, and it's cyb and then HER, like her. And basically it just kind of helps enhance like digital literacy for kids as technology is getting used more, and to have more of those resources available. So that'll help with that mission too.
That is so cool. It is such a great thing. And like I said, you felt the excitement watching your story yesterday. You felt the kids' excitement. I felt like I was getting a laptop and I was just watching them through a screen. Is there anything else that you want to add, or anything that stood out to you yesterday?
Yeah, so along with the laptops, they also got a backpack, and that backpack was filled with a bunch of different school supplies. So notebooks, pencils, things like that. So kids are set for school, hopefully, coming up here in a couple weeks, or I think some schools even have started now.
Some schools have started, and most of it's coming up this week. So yeah, I was going to say, I hope the shiny new laptop overweighs the, I have to go back to school now aspect for them. Well, thank you so much, Carly. That is all our time for now. Thank you so much for watching Inside the Newsroom. We'll see you back here Monday at 1 p.m.